Hey everybody, welcome to another tool tutorial from Kali Linux. My name is Jason Wood with Paladin Security, and today we're going to take a look at a tool that I like to use fairly regularly on penetration tests, external penetration tests in particular, where I'm looking at a company. I know some of their domain names. I've maybe given some IP ranges to test, but I'm not getting necessarily all the information that I or had hoped to, or I'm thinking maybe there's some other maybe sites out there that I could take a look at that maybe my client isn't even aware of. So I like to use Fierce for that. This is a Perl script written by Robert Hansen, otherwise known as Arsnake, and it's been out for quite some time. But I still find it to be really useful. And what it does here basically allows you to give it a domain name, a DNS server, and turn it loose to pull some DNS reconnaissance for your target. So let's go ahead and take a look at that now. Okay, for starters, we can take a look at the help page here, the Fierce page on the tools.kali.org website. It's kind of easier to read than, at least in this video, than just scrolling across your text and your terminal rather, and scrolling back and forth. But so our main options that we have here that we're going to be looking at is one, the -DNS option, which is the domain that we would like to have scanned down. We can provide a list of DNS servers that we want it to run against, or we can specify a particular DNS server, which is what we're going to do today. And where do you want the output logged to? So if you have a large domain, this can be particularly useful. If there are a lot of subdomains, to log that and use it, put in your notes, share with other testers that you're working with, and what have you. You've also got some options to do reverse DNS lookups on usually internal IP ranges. So if I wanted to see, if I got a list of IP addresses and I want to see what domain names go with them, I can use Fierce to do that as well. Feed it the list or a range of IP addresses to go through. And it'll do DNS lookups on each of those IP addresses and tell me if I have a domain name associated with it or not. And it can do some other searching here, looking for, moving up and down the IP space. So it says, hey, I've got this host name that resolved to IP address X. Let me try incrementing up or down to Y or Z and see if anything shows up there, as well as the number of threads and things like that that we can put out here for performance. We're going to be doing this on a fairly small domain, so this is going to be we're not really going to need to get into that. So let me switch over to my Kali installation here. And, obviously if I'm on the command line and I want to see how to use a tool, a lot of times I'll just run the command with a -H, or just run it without any options to see what output I get back. So Fierce -H, that gives me all of that output that we just saw, but you can see how it's kind of, you have to scroll up and down here a little bit. And let's go ahead, and we're going to go ahead and do this against my domain. We'll do it against paladinsec.com. So if I wanted to see, first off, hey, who is the DNS server for this domain? So I'm going to right away do a who is on paladinsec.com. Okay, we can see here that I have my domain hosted, or the DNS hosted on dns1.stabletransit.com as well as dns2.stabletransit.com. Just go ahead and copy that real fast. And then what I have to do is fierce-dns. Oops. Pasted in the wrong thing here. paladinsec.com, and then the DNS server is -DNS server dns1.stabletransit.com, or my DNS blog. All right, so we'll go ahead and turn this loose. Now, first thing that it's going to do right away is it's going to do a who-has lookup, gather up the DNS servers, and try and do zone transfers right away. Most of the time, that's not going to really yield you anything, but every so often, you'll be doing a test, and you'll find that you'll be able to get a zone transfer. So that can be really helpful for dumping a lot of information. And usually when I found that this happens is like the primary DNS server is locked down and it doesn't allow zone transfers, and then for some reason the admins made a mistake on the secondary DNS server, and that's where I get the zone transfer. So we're going to let this run for a little while, and then we'll take a look at the results. A little bit of time is going to pass. I mean, obviously we're doing a couple thousand different tests here, and but we'll see what we get. Okay, we've got our first hit here, community.paladinsec.com. Should get a few more hits before this test is done, but you'll see them start to get displayed on your screen as as Fierce finds a valid hostname. So we'll let this continue on a bit more. Okay, our scans are complete, and we have pulled up 4 domains on paladinsec.com. Community is something I was fooling around with at one point. Dev, in this case, could be really interesting during a penetration test, because frequently dev systems aren't going to be protected the same way that a production system would be. In this case, it was a website I was testing out. Old version of my website, I need to remove that entry, obviously, and then the main www site domain name. And so only 4 entries here, but definitely when you run this against a larger organization, you will frequently find quite a bit more information to go through. It can be really useful, like I said, as you are looking for additional targets, seeing what you can find out about this organization. And it's really a pretty low impact kind of scan, because all we're doing is just a bunch of DNS queries and then dumping those results out here. So this is, like I said, Fierce is an older tool. It's been around for quite a while, but I still find it to be very useful. And so check it out. Try it on your own organization or during your penetration tests. See what you find. You definitely will find some things occasionally that are hanging around out there that you had no idea were there and need to be cleaned up a bit. So with that, thank you very much, and I will catch you in the next video. Thanks.